Good morning, it's Sue from Snake River Stamping. Welcome to my craft room today. I'm glad you're here. We're going to do a couple of fun cards today and talk about some specials and some updates that I have for you. First thing, I wanted to ask you a question today. Yesterday was Mother's Day, so this is, a little bit late, but and I put this question on my business Facebook page too, if you'd like to respond there, or you can respond in the chat if you would like to. What is a meaningful moment that you can remember that you shared with your mom that inspires you today with some joy, some love, some connection with your mother, whether she's with us or not? My mom passed away in 2003, but I have lots and lots of good memories of her. She was a wonderful mother growing up, took care of, raised 3 kids, and managed to spend time with each one of us, and I have a lot of good memories of her. One of my memories, or I'm going to tell you two. One of my memories is whenever we went someplace alone, just she and I, whether it was a doctor's appointment or whatever it was, we would always stop at A&W Root Beer afterwards, after we got done with whatever we were doing, and we would get the root beer floats, the old-fashioned kinds in the frozen mugs and everything, and we would sit there and talk and laugh and have a great time. And I just always remember that. She loved root beer floats, and it was just a fun time between us that we used to do. And I thought it was just between her and I that we did that, and it wasn't until way later in life that I found out she did it with my brothers too. But I was convinced it was just a thing that she and I did. And then later in life, my mom, unfortunately, the last 8 years of her life had Alzheimer's. And, of course, that's a degenerative disease. It gets worse as time goes by. And she wasn't driving at the time, but I could still take her to go shopping and things like that. And I didn't realize that she was losing the ability to write a check. And we were at a store somewhere, and she'd purchased a few things, and she went to write the check, and it was apparent that she couldn't do it. And she looked at me and she said, can you do this for me? And I said, yeah, I can do that. And I said, can you sign it? And she said, yeah, I can sign it. So I filled out her check for her, and she signed it, and we got our purchases, and we left. And when we got to the car, she said, you'll always watch out for me with those things, won't you? And I said, yeah, I will. So that was a great memory that I have of her. 2 great memories I have of my mom that we shared over the years. So today I'm going to turn my camera down and share a couple things with you, and then we're going to get started making the cards. And I hope you will share a memory or 2 of your mom with me on either on my Facebook page or in the chat today. So let me click the button. There we go. I would like to remind you that Paper Pumpkin, some of you signed up this past week. You have to do it by the 10th of the month to get it for that month. So if you signed up before May 10th, you will get the May Paper Pumpkin, which is a Father's Day Paper Pumpkin this time. And so now, if you sign up between now and June 10th, you will get this Paper Pumpkin. It looks something like this. It is called the Floral Charm Suite collection, and that will come in June. So you just have to sign up for it by June 10th, and you will get that. I get mine around the 20th to the 21st of the month. That's when mine arrive, and I live in Southeast Washington State, so it's fairly close to Utah. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. And also, if you'd like, you can order the coordinating add-ons that go with April, May, and June. They have different things that are add-on while supplies last, that are just little extra fun things that you can get. And the Paper Pumpkin's very, very flexible. you sign up for it. You can pay month by month. You can pay every 3 months, every 6 months, every year, whatever you want. And you can pause it or stop it anytime you want to. You know, you just let them know by the 10th what you want to do for that month. If you want it, you just leave it alone, and it comes, and they bill you. But if you want to pause it or stop it, you just let them know by the 10th of the month. Also, we're having the starter kit special. If you would like, if you have, you know, like over $100 on your wish list, the starter kit makes a lot of sense, and you don't have to be a demonstrator. You don't have to do that. You get the demonstrator perks though, and so for your $99, you get to spend $165 in product. You get to pick $165 worth of product, any product that you want that we sell, catalogs, online specials, last chance list, which I'm going to talk about to you. One thing that's still on the last chance list that I recommend today. So for $99, there's no shipping on this particular order. It's free shipping. It's a really great deal if you have kind of a large list that you would like to get. And then going forward, you get a 20% discount on everything on top of all the other discounts that are offered to everybody that come along that they have. You get to stack your discounts. You still get rewards, points, you know, all those things. So the starter kit specials are pretty good. My May specials that I have, I'm continuing to do my specials because I so appreciate you guys as my customers, and I want to show you how much I appreciate you by providing the specials. Now the first one, of course, is from Stampin' Up. On any order $20 or above, you get a 10% Stampin' Rewards that you get to use on a future order. So if you ordered today $20 or more, you get 10% of that order in Stampin' Rewards that you get to apply to any future order. Now you can save these up. They're good for a year. You can use them right away, whatever you want to do. Okay, so if you order $40, you get the Stampin' Rewards, and you get card kits. And I have 2 card kits to choose from this month. You can get the masculine ones that I did a few weeks ago. I'm trying to get that in frame and not covered by my picture. So you get 2 of each. I do all the cutting. You have to have your own stamps and ink, but I do all the cutting. Now the tree thing was a stamp, so I will send you the paper and you can stamp and die cut or whatever you want. If you have the tree, that's fine, you know, or you can use something else, but you'll get all the paper and everything to do that. And I do send you the link. If you choose that one, I do send you the link where I demonstrated that, and you can review that if you want to get ideas. Then the other card kit you might choose, I did last week. If I can get the bag open. And this card kit was using Everyday Happiness. I just love this paper. And so these are the cards that I will cut everything. Again, you have to have your own stamps, your own ink. You can make them look however you want, but I do all the cutting of all the paper, and I send all that to you, and then you kind of finish it up. And that's where I was going to share with you that textured floral would look really good on this. Now I used one of our new stamps of Everyday Happiness on this, but textured floral would look good, and it's on the last chance list, so it's on sale and it's still available, and they'll sell these until they run out. So if you like this stamp, I did Everyday Arches with this a couple of months ago that turned out really pretty, and these stamps they just come out really nice. So I linked those below in case you're interested in the last chance list. So this is your other card kit choice this month. So you have two choices. You can do the everyday happiness, or you can do the masculine, whichever you prefer. For $50 orders, you get the card kits I mentioned here, and you get a package of gems, and of course you get your Stampin' Rewards. If you do a $60 order, and this is all before tax and shipping, you get the card kits, you get the gems, and you get one sheet of dimensional. I was going to pull out new sheets, and you know what? I didn't do that. They'll be complete sheets. So there's 100 dimensionals on regular dimensionals. There's 100. And on the minis, there's 240 dimensionals. I've used both of these. You will get brand new sheets. Okay, you don't get a whole package, but you get a sheet. And again, I will, when I email you to see what card kits you want, I'll ask you, do you want the minis, or do you want the regular size dimensionals? Okay, plus you get your Stampin' Rewards. All qualifying orders are before tax, shipping, and coupons, or anything that you might have used. It's what you're actually ordering and paying for that month, this month. So 20, 40, 50, and 60. Those are my specials. So maybe some of those will interest you. So today we are using two new sets. Pretty Florals. I'm going to use a couple little stamps from this, and Sweet Blooms, and I'm going to use the Lovely on this one, and I'm going to use a couple of stamps, okay, from these two sets. And I think those are both online specials. So this is the first one, Have a Lovely Day, and I put these on my Facebook page late last night because my internet went down, and I went to do it yesterday afternoon, and whoops, no internet. So this is the first card. This is a fun fold. And it opens like that, and you can make it a little gift card holder. There's a little pocket here for holding gift cards. And we cut out the Lovely. And this is the other one, also a little bit of a fun fold because it's a pocket card. I'll show you how to make that. Okay. So we're going to start with Lovely today. This one's a little bit more involved. And I have the stuff right here. So we're going to start out with a Blackberry Bliss card base. And this card base is 4 1/4 by 11. And you score it at 2.5 and at 5.5 inches. So it folds in half. And then this folds back, not quite in half. And this is going to be where you put the gift card. And I was going to grab I'm going to grab a little punch to make that divot in here. But that's our card base, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 2.5 and 5.5. And then I use some new paper. There's some of our new colors in it. And this is linked below, Florals in Bloom, Designer Series paper. And it's got a lot of pretty paper in it. Take it out of the package here. It's got lots of pretty paper. So this is the paper that I used on this first card. And this is directional. So you need to pay attention when you cut it, that you cut so that the directions are facing up like that. Okay. So I used that one, and I used this one on the other card, and this is the other side of that one, and this is the other side of the one we're using first. So those two, there's this pretty paper, And then it just has some, this is that, this is a new color. Oh my goodness. Dark. Oh. Oh. Can't remember now. Anyways. Oh, it's on the back. It's on the back. It's on the back. This is called Secret C. Yeah, this dark color is Secret C. Because on the back, they always have the name of the DSP, and they have all the colors that are in there. And then I found a color that wasn't in there. But anyway, they always have the main colors in there for sure. So this was Secret C. And Blackberry Bliss is in there too. So I pulled that out with, actually with both of these papers that I used today. So this one is the same. The Secret C on the back. And then there's this one. This is pretty. And it's got that new yellow that's called Darling Duckling in it. And this is just kind of an abstract, but it's really good for backgrounds. And this is really good for main focal points. And then they have this one, and this has got the new Timid Tiger in it. And that's the back with Strawberry Slush. That's another new color. And then this one has Bubble Bath, is the pink, and Garden Green, and Blackberry Bliss in this. And it's got some Secret C in it. And then on the back, it's a stripe, again, really good for neutral backgrounds. And I think we looked at that one already. Yeah, because I used the back of that. Yeah. So those are the colors that you have in this new paper package. And this is called Florals in Bloom. Okay. And I have linked all these products in my description below. Okay, so then you're going to need a piece of your DSP to make this, and you need to cut it 6 by 4. Okay, and you need to make it so that these blooms are going up on the 6-inch side, and then the 4-inch side like that. And we're going to cut these so that each piece is going to go on the card. Okay, so we're going to turn this into 3 pieces in just a moment, because we're going to cut it 2 3/4 and 2 1/4, and I'll show you how to do that. Then for the card, for this little piece right here, you need a piece of Blackberry Bliss at 3 3/4 and by 3 1/4. And then the white piece that goes on top is 3 1/2 by 3. And we're going to stamp on that, and we're going to put our words on that. Okay, so that's going to be the top. Then I think it's the same. 3 3/4. Yeah, that's an extra one. I might have cut an extra one. So then to cut out our words, you need 2 pieces of paper to die cut, and I'm going to show you those dies. You need 4 1/2 by 3 for both of these to do the lovely word. And the dark, the Blackberry Bliss, you don't need to do anything to that except die cut it. But on the Bubble Bath, you need to put either an adhesive sheet, or you're going to dot glue on the back of Lovely in this Bubble Bath. And you can do it. My advice is, I'm going to show you with an adhesive sheet today. My advice is, if you do it, you put the little dots of glue on the back of it and let it dry for like 6 minutes. And it doesn't dry, it just gets a little tacky, but then it won't smear when you glue it on the background of the die cut word. Okay, so if you don't have adhesive sheets, that's okay. I do it all the time, and I've done it before. I dot the glue on, I put it on a silicone mat to dry. In fact, I have it cut out over here. I've already die cut it. Let me show you the dies, because they come out of Sweet Blooms. And this one that looks like this, that's the pink word. Okay, that's the pink lovely. And then the one that's a little thicker and more open, that's the one that's going to go on Blackberry Bliss. All right. And so you'll see that it fits on here and goes through your die cutter. And then this one fits on the bubble bath. You'll have plenty of room, and you'll die cut it. But we're going to add adhesive sheets to this to make it a sticker today. And the adhesive sheets, we sell those, and I link those below. They come in a package like this, and I think these are 6 by 12. Yeah, they're 6 by 12 sheets, and they peel off. It's really hard to see, but they're in. Now on the back, there's 3 sections where you can peel them. So my advice is to cut them this way, so you have 3 sections to peel off. And I'm going to show you how I did that. I'll set these things aside for just a moment. So I took my bubble bath and I cut those 2 pieces the same, 4.5 by 3 inches with an adhesive sheet. So I have my adhesive sheet, and I flip my paper over, and I look on the back, and it's really hard to see, but there it is. There is a slit, and you can kind of bend it. Now, this stuff's super sticky, and sometimes it will come up when you peel off the backing. So you just have to peel really carefully, and I only peel half of it or whatever I've got to begin with. And I place it on here because I'm going to turn this into a sticker, and I stick it down. Okay, now I flip this back and I grab the other edge. Sometimes I gotta get a tweezer because, you know, my fingers don't work as good as they, and see, now it's starting to come up, the sticky stuff. And so I just stick it back down and try to peel it carefully. Once you get it started, it seems to do okay. Just getting it started. So I peel that off, and I stick that down, and I have one more little section that I might need, so I'm going to take it off. And I just gently, sticky stuff, peel that off and stick it down. So now I just made a sticker by this 4.5 by 3 inch sheet, and I take my die that I want, and it's the skinny one, and I'm going to put it on here, and I would definitely tape it down. I would definitely tape it down. I'm going to run it through the die cutter, and it will look like this when it comes out. My lovely will come out just like that. And on the back, see, I've got all this sticker space, so I might save this for small things that I want stickers, small little flowers or something. I might save that to use because that's a lot of sticker area that's not used. But now I have my lovely cut out, and it's a sticker. Okay, and that's all I did to do that, was I used an adhesive sheet. Now if I didn't have adhesive sheets, I would turn my lovely over, I would put dots of glue where I could put them. I have a fine glue dispenser that I use. I put the other glue in, and this works really, really well to dispense fine little dots and lines of glue. And I would let it dry for like 6 minutes and get tacky. But I also cut the other lovely, the background lovely, out of my Blackberry Bliss, came out of this. Okay, but I didn't have a sticker on this because I'm going to put some little dimensionals on the back of this. But now what I can do to make my lovely is carefully, and I go to a wider part to start using, I use my tweezers. My fingers just don't work that good anymore, so I use my tweezers. And I carefully start peeling the sticker part off. And it comes off pretty good. Okay, that's what you have left. And you just throw that away. It's no good. It was just the backing. And the tricky part is getting it laid down. And it does fit. If you don't get it exactly right, if you take it up right away, you can reposition it. Like I see that my Y is not exactly where I want it, so I'm going to reposition that. And hopefully I'll get that right where I want it, because I want my Blackberry Bliss to show and to be, there we go. So it fits. It sort of just falls in place, but you might not get it exactly the first time you do it, so don't press down until you get it where you want it. And now I have my lovely, it has that darker background that looks kind of like a shadow, and it's going to show up really well on my paper. So I'm going to set that to the side, and I'm going to work on my Designer Series paper. And if you remember, I said we had to cut this Designer Series paper to make 3 sections to go on our card. And this was a 6x4 inch piece. I want the 6 inches going across so that my flowers are going up, because this is a directional patterned paper. And I am going to cut it 2 3/4 and 2 1/4, which is going to leave me 3 pieces. Okay. So I just turn it in my trimmer, and my first cut is 2 3/4, and this is for the front. I'm using my cutting blade, 2 3/4. That's for the front. This is for the pocket on the inside, 2 1/4. And then the skinny piece I have left is going to go on the inside. So now I have these 3 pieces. So this is front, this is the pocket on the inside, and this is on the inside. So I also had one piece I didn't show you. This is the inside piece, 5 1/4 by 4, that goes on the inside of my card. Okay, 5 1/4 by 4. So now I have these 3 pieces. And I think I'm done with my cutter. The big piece goes on the outside, the middle-sized piece goes on the inside, and this piece goes on the inside. And it goes on the edge. And I'm just going to glue this down. You can glue it, you can use Stampin' Seal Plus, you know, whatever your adhesive of choice is for this. And I am just going to put this here. I'm just going to leave a tiny border, tiny border, and it fits top to bottom. And since I'm using glue, I can slip it around just a tiny bit and then press it down really good. And I'm going to grab, because I'm already getting my fingers gluey, I'm going to wipe them off on my microfiber towel. And then this goes inside my card base. Now, since I'm going to write on this, I almost always use seal because it's flatter than glue. And I know a lot of people use glue, and they probably don't use as much glue as I do. I probably use too much glue, right? And I'm just going to put 3 strips of my Seal Plus. You can kind of see the shiny on there. And I want this side out, on the outside edge. And I'm going to make my borders. Get that out of the way so you can see. So that's the inside of my card. And I probably should have stamped before I did that. So let's hope that I can stamp well today. And this is a photopolymer stamp, so it's usually better to use a scoring board, a pierced mat, to stamp with when you use photopolymer stamps, because they don't have any cushion. The rubber stamps have cushion. So I'm gonna try this a couple times over here. Oh, yeah, I see I have a bunch of extra there. Make sure I get it stamped up, and you see that I have extra ink on the edge, and I don't want that on my paper. I do not want that on my paper. So I'm just going to use a tissue, maybe not a tissue. I hope I get this off. Nope, I need a baby wipe. Because I want to get that off. I don't want it to get on my paper. And I'm going to put "You Make Me Smile" down here. And like I said, I should have stamped this first, just in case. Hopefully I'll do a good job. Oh, perfect. "You Make Me Smile" is going to go on the inside. Okay, so I got my inside done. And I'll wipe off my stamp. Now, I'll close the stamp pad for a moment. Now I want to glue on my middle section. This is for my pocket. Now, if you don't want to make a pocket, you could cut this off, you could glue it down, but if you want to have a gift card pocket, this works really, really well because this is already attached. And I am just going to use some of my Tombow glue, and I'm going to attach this, and I'm going to punch a little partial circle to make it easy to get the gift card out. So I'm going to make sure this is going the direction I want it to go. I'm going to have a border. And I'm using a 1 3/4 inch circle punch. And we use these upside down so you can see. And I'm just going to punch, as you can see, just like a 1/4 of a circle maybe. Oh, It was through 2 pieces, so it was kind of hard. So now I have a quarter circle, so when I put a gift card in here, they can reach in and pull it out easily. Now you can glue these 2 sides shut. You'll have to hold it for a little while. I really like tear and tape myself, and I'm just going to put right on the edges, I'm going to put some tear and tape. And you can usually just tear that with your fingernail. So I would rub that down really good to get that one side adhered really good. And then I'd use my take your pick tool, and I start in the middle. I must have been using the spatula edge. Just flip it around. That's all you have to do. There we go. Now I got my take your pick tool. And you just, if I start in the middle, it works better to take off the tear and tape than starting at the end. And then I just work my way to the edges. And you can see that I've got that tear and tape. I've already done my punch. And I've already scored my card. I gave you those measurements earlier, scoring measurements. It's 5.5. I don't see my sticky. Well, you can rewind. 5.5 and I don't know, 2 and something. So now all I have to do is my front. And I have my piece right here that I cut at 2 3/4 by 4. And I'm going to put that on first with glue. And then I'm going to make that other piece for this fun fold. So that's my, you can see the bubble bath and the Blackberry Bliss in this. So then I bring in this other piece. And this was 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 by 3 1/4. This is the front piece. And this is the white piece that's going to be glued on top. But I'm going to work on this first because I cut out my lovely right here. And I kind of want to place that first because I want to stamp have a lovely day. And I've got this on a really small skinny block. And I have day on one side and I have a on the other side, and so I kind of want to see where I should stamp that. Let me try that. Yeah. Okay, so I just want to hold that on there, and I'm going to place my have a right there, and then I just flip it over. Maybe I better wipe this off first. Flip it over because I have day on the other side of it, and I'm using the same color. Oops, I need to turn it this way or my day is going to be upside down. So I have a lovely, and I place day down here. Okay. pretty good. Alrighty, so now you could glue Lovely on. I did pop mine up and I used mini dimensionals cut in half and cut in strips. I had to make them really, really small to do this. And I use my sticky scissors that I always cut dimensionals when they're on the paper. And I just cut a bunch of them in half in pieces. And then I started putting them on the back because even a mini dimensional was a little bit too big for a lot of this. And I'm looking for places where they will fit. Oops. There we go. I just kind of put them where I think I might need them. On these, especially these larger areas. I do want a really skinny one. Here's a really skinny one. It might be too big though. No. Well, maybe I can stick it here. And I do want a little piece at the very bottom of that Y. I'm going to come in and peel that off. There we go. This is why tweezers are like super handy. Okay, that's enough. So then I go through and I press these down pretty good before I take the tops off. And then go ahead and take all of my tops off. And for me, tweezers just work so much better than my fingers do. I keep forgetting to look at the camera, see what's showing. Multitasking, not my strength. Almost got them all. Okay. So, I'm going to place my Lovely on here. Go have a lovely day. Then, I also cut out, and I used Pretty Florals for this. And I cut out, this one. I used this one and it cuts out 3 little flowers. And I cut those out of Bubble Bath. So I got these 3 little flowers up here. And I'm going to glue 2 of them down. And they can go off the page because they're going to have plenty of room. So I glued 2 of them down. I just glue at the bottom. And then I popped the other one. Whoops, knocked him off. And then the third one, I did use a regular dimensional to put him on. So that is my top. I'm going to glue this on my mat, my Blackberry Bliss mat. And this is just basic white, of course. And center that. And I did put dimensionals, okay. So I want dimensionals, however you adhere it, whether you glue it down or whatever, you're only going to do it on this left side. So depending on how you turn it, do you turn it this way, do you turn it that way? Pay attention to which side is left on your, when you're looking at it from the front. So I'm going to turn it over this way, so now it's the right. And so I'm going to put my dimensionals on the right, which is going to be the left side when I flip it back over. Okay. So I just have some random dimensionals. Flipping it back over, now it's back on the left, and I'm going to center this top to bottom, and I'm going to center this so that I have some space and I'm seeing the flowers on each side. Okay, and then my dimensionals. So now my card is going to, I usually have a gift card around here, but I don't see it right now. Anyway, a gift card will fit right in here very nicely, just like that. Okay, so you can put a gift card in there that could be a graduation or whatever. Have a lovely day, you make me smile. Give somebody a coffee gift card that's done something nice for you. I've had so many of my neighbors that have been helping me out since my husband's been in the hospital. He's out now, and but they're mowing my yard and helping me with sprinklers, because that's not my jam, that's his jam, and I don't pay attention to that, which is unfortunate for me, that I don't know what I'm doing with sprinklers. So anyway, this would be something I might give one of my neighbors that have been helping me. Have a lovely day. The guy that's mowing my lawn, I need to give him a gas card because he's been mowing my lawn a couple times a week for me. Anyway, so that's that card. Isn't that pretty? I love the paper. I love the colors in the paper. This little fun fold. It's not hard. Even doing the lovely is not that hard. And it also has in this set, and I was going to cut this out and I forgot last night when I was cutting. I did lovely twice. But they also have bloom, the same style. And you can have bloom where you're planted, which is really cute. And then they have some flower stuff that you can add to that. Anyway, all of that is just really cute, and it turns out great. I like this set. So I hope you enjoyed that one. On to card number 2 for today. And this is our pocket card. And our pieces and parts of our pocket card. So you are going to start out with, I looked at these colors, and there is Bubble Bath. Fresh Freesia is not listed on the back, but as I was looking at this card, Fresh Freesia really goes well with this particular pattern. It's kind of bubble bathy, but you've got the Blackberry Bliss in here. So anyway, you need 2 pieces, and this is going to be your card base. Fresh Freesia, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. You just cut that card base. And what did I do? There it is. Bingo, there's our sample. So that's just a cut card base, okay, to hold everything else. Then you need to cut a piece of your designer series paper. I chose this side. This is the other side with the larger florals. I wanted the smaller ones. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I used, on this card, I used Textured Notes, which is also linked below. And I've used this many times before. I used the first die on this piece, and I used the second die on the white piece. So you also need a piece of basic white, 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. And this is the third, no, yeah, is that it, the third one? No, no, here's the third one. I was going, that's too small. It's this one. This is the third one. Okay, to cut this. So if you start out with 3 1/4 by 4 3/4, this will fit nicely on there, and run it through your die cutting machine. You will end up with this, with those really nice little edges etched on there, and you'll run this one through on here, and you'll end up again, and it's harder to see on this one, but you'll end up with nice little edges. They're very subtle on this one. So that was die number 1 and die number 3, counting from the outside. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I used this one, this long skinny one, to cut another piece, just a scrap of fresh freesia. You're going to need a scrap of that too. Okay. So that was Textured Notes. You're going to need a scrap to cut a circle. You can cut a plain circle. I use Spotlight on Nature because you know I absolutely love Spotlight on Nature. And I used this is like 2-inch circle for Spotlight on Nature. That works really well on this. And this is going to be a part that will hinge on here. So I'll show you how to do this. And then I cut this flower. I believe I used Pretty Florals again. Yeah. I think I used Pretty Florals. Nope. I used Pretty Florals to cut out this. I used a bigger die, and I probably took it out of here, and a smaller little die to cut that out. Okay, and it's just any flower die, and I just used it to decorate down here at the bottom. And I used Blackberry Bliss, and again I used fresh freesia for the top. Anything you have that's kind of built like this will work great to make that design. So once you have this cut out with textured notes, then you just need to cut 1 inch off the top. And I'm gonna, and on my trimmer, I have 1 inch on both sides. It's just easier to hold on to cut the 1 inch here. And I just slice 1 inch off of there because I want these to be separate. And I bring my card base back in that I cut, that was 4 1/4 by 5. And I'm going to glue down this top. I'm going to center this and glue this down. And then this has to be a pocket card. So once again, I'm going to use tear and tape to make a pocket card, because this little white piece is going to need to slip in and out of this pocket card. So the top part can be glued down, but not the bottom part. And it's all going to fit together because you cut it out of one piece. You see, this is going to fit together perfectly. I am going to leave a tiny space, and I'm going to glue this piece that I cut out of the skinny one from Textured Notes. I'm going to glue this down at the top to kind of hold it. And I'm going to cut, let's see, did I cut? Maybe I didn't cut it. No, I did. I did. I'm going to glue this right square with the top inside the lines. So I just glued this down right at the edge, but inside the little embossed lines that I have. And I take my circle punch again, and I'm going to cut a very small divot out of here. Very small, even smaller than my last one. And I try to get this in the center by looking side to side. I do not want a large divot. Okay, so just a small divot right there. And back to tear and tape, turn it over. And I'm going to do the sides and the bottom this time. So I'll place this. I don't want to get it on that. Place this on the edges. Run it down. Use my fingernail, tear it off. Didn't tear it evenly. So come back in with sticky scissors, trim that off. I'm going to do the other side. Down the edges. And again, you could use any paper with this. I mean, this paper is really pretty. And then I don't want to go on top of that other tape. So I want to be careful about that. And again, I am going to rub this down really good. And then use my take your pick tool, starting in the middle, tear it up. Tear it up. Tear it up. So it's just on here, it's just on the sides, nothing on the top, sides, bottom. Because I'm making a pocket and I want to make it match where my other piece is so it looks pretty seamless. So I've got my pocket that this is going to slip in and out of. Okay. You might have to stick your finger in there if you press it down to just give it a little nudge so it'll slip in and out easily. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I put this little flower, just glued this on the bottom just for a little decoration. Oops, my fingers are sticky again. Glue that down. And then I stamped from Pretty Florals. I used these two stamps. I did this one in Fresh Freesia and this one in Blackberry Bliss on top of it. And I already put these stamps on. Okay, so the more solid one is going to go in the lighter color in Fresh Freesia. And I just did this to decorate a little bit on the inside. I'm not really going to stamp anything on the inside as far as a greeting or anything. And I'll need one of these. I always cover my Stampin' Pierce mats with some copy paper. Oops, that's the wrong one. I want this one. Good thing I tried it out. Yeah, I want that one. I'm just going to put it down in the corner. Okay. And then I'm going to come back in with Blackberry Bliss and stamp on top of it to give it more definition. Stamp all that other color off, Fresh Freesia. And now, see, I'm going to stamp with Blackberry Bliss, and it gives more definition. Yeah, on top. My head might be in the way. There we go. Not exactly, but it looks okay. Even though it's a little messy, it looks okay. Believe me, nobody complains. Okay. So that part is done. Then I took my circle and I decided I want to put a little texture behind my words, and I pulled Birthday Blooms for You out of that one that is on sale. It's on the last chance book. I pulled this out of Textured Floral, Birthday Blooms for You. It fits on here. I want to make a birthday card. So that, since that fits, that's the one I'm going to use. But before I stamp that, I wanted to stamp something that would do texture. And so I could do dots. I could do this circle basket pattern, which is out of one that we used in Textured Notes. It's a circle basket pattern. You know, anything that has kind of a texture to it. On my example, I used Elements of Text, and I used this one, and I stamped it in Fresh Freesia behind it, which I wasn't totally, I think I like the basket pattern better because this is words on words, even though you can't really read the words behind it. I think I liked the basket pattern better when I did that one, when I was practicing. So I'm gonna use the basket pattern on this one. So I just stamped this up. Now this is a rubber stamp, so I don't really need this Pierce mat for this one. It'll do okay on a hard surface. I'll try it once, yeah. And I do kind of want to center it on that circle as best I can. Press firmly. Good. I got my nice little basket pattern, gives me a little bit of texture on there. Then I come in again with Blackberry Bliss for my words. Whoops. I had stuff sitting on there. Get those off of there. Can't have that. Can't have that. Bring my Pierce mat back in. Oops. Ink on my hands. I hope I did not get that on the front of that. What a mess. Okay. Tell me I didn't get that on the front. Oh, whew. Okay. So, let me try this. Birthday Blooms for You. Perfect. Okay. So I bring this back in and center it. Press firmly, but not too hard. Great. That work the way I wanted it to. So I have that texture in the background behind it, and this is on basic white, of course, and I used my Spotlight on Nature die, and I'm going to close my pad so I can maybe prevent myself. No, I didn't. Look, I did it again. I must have something on the outside of it. I do. All right, now we're almost done. So I only want this circle. I'm going to place it in here because I need the circle to be in a certain spot. Like here. I can't have it go up here. It won't fit in the envelope. I have to have it stay down here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is pull it up a little bit because I'm going to put Stampin' Seal or glue, either one. I'm going to use Stampin' Seal. And I'm just going to put a little at the top. Okay. Because I don't want this whole circle to stick inside. I want some of it to stick outside. But I need this to be a little lower because this circle helps it come out. A little bit lower. Okay. All right. Get that centered and press down on top of where I put that Stampin' Seal Plus. So then this slips in and out easily, and it goes over the edge. You see, fits over the edge. And we cut that little divot so the circle would fit in there. Now you can write on this. You know, you won't be able to see it from when it's inside, but when they pull it, they'll know to pull it out, I bet. And then I love these iridescent pearls. I give these away a lot because I love them, because you can, one of the things you can do with them is color them. If you have alcohol blends, you can color them, and if you do, color them while they're on this paper, not while they're on the card. So I'm going to use some of these, and I just used white ones on here, but they didn't show up very well because it was against, there's just a lot of white on this card. So I used white pearls on here, but I thought, well, maybe they'll show up better if I color them with the alcohol markers. So I'm going to color a couple with, this is dark Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to color two big ones, and I am using the brush tip, but I'm being very gentle not to break it down, because if you press really hard you will break the fibers of it. And they do dry quickly because they're alcohol markers. So now I just turn my white pearls into Blackberry Bliss pearls. Do you see those? Maybe they don't show up there, but they show up here. Okay. And so now I'm going to slide them off, and I'm going to put some Blackberry Bliss pearls over here, and those do show up better. Okay, so then I have something in this corner, and I have something in this corner, and I have this in the middle. If you really wanted to write on the back, you could put a piece of white on the back if you have more to say, but that's a very simple card. It's called a pocket card. You've probably seen maybe a lot of them. I cut this one was a bigger flower. I like this littler one better. But anyway, that's those cards that we have today. Turn it back up to me. So thank you for coming and joining me today. If you're watching the replay, you can still join the chat, or you can go to my Facebook page and reply to the question about a memory that you have with your mom. And I hope that yesterday you got to spend time, if your mom is still with us, I hope that you got to spend some time with her yesterday and time with your family. I hope you enjoyed these cards that we made today. I'll be with you next Monday, but it'll probably be in the afternoon. My husband has a doctor's appointment in the morning that I'll need to take him to. So just watch my Facebook page, my business page, and I will be letting you know probably around 3, I think, is when I'm available next Monday. And we will make something else that's fun and easy to do. And I always try to make my cards so that you can use paper that you might have, stamps you might have. I mean, if you would like to order stuff, I would so love to be your demonstrator. I really appreciate that. If you would like and share my videos, I would love that. Subscribe to my videos. If you hit the bell thing, that lets you know every time I go live if it's something unscheduled. And sometimes I just get a whim and I do something. So liking and subscribing will let you know when I'm going to go live. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a good week. And